Hey guys, today we're going to be looking at the Marvel Legends MCU Jonah Jameson action figure. Before we unbox him, let's have a look at the box. On top we have that Spider-Man logo. Moving on to the bottom, some product information. And onto the side of the packaging, Jonah Jameson's on a big screen telling everyone how much he hates Spider-Man. And there is Tom Holland Spider-Man as well as another Spider-Man logo at the bottom. Moving on to the back of the package, we have the full version of that big screen Jonah Jameson. There's a description of the character over here, the rest of the figures in the Armadillo Build-A-Figure wave, and onto that last side it's the same artwork. So let's go ahead and get him open. Now we have a good look at the package insert, and there's the Daily Bugle logo in that background in green. The action figure is over here on the plastic tray. He comes with two open splayed hands, one talking or shouting alternate head sculpt, as well as the Armadillo Build-A-Figure arm. His two splayed hands are cast in a flash tone plastic. There's good sculpting detail on the inside. You can see the lines on his palms, as well as between his fingers, and on the outside of those hands there's also fine sculpting detail to show the veins on the back of his hand. On his left hand it's also painted with a ring on his ring finger, and that paint is also neat and goes onto the inside of that finger as well. These splayed hands are articulated inwards and they can swing outwards as well. The splayed hands pop on just fine onto his body, but they do end up looking a little unnatural. They don't actually look relaxed at the side of his body in a vanilla pose, but they do give you a couple of options to pose him in different situations. For example, slamming his palms on the table in anger. So now I'm taking a look at the alternate head sculpt together with the default one. I think they're both really well done. There's a good resemblance to J.K. Simmons. There's really nice and sharp digital printing of the paint applications on his face. So you can see that he has got brown eyebrows, blue eyes, and there's also subtle shading around the eyes and his cheeks just to bring out the age in the contours of his face. He's also got brown paint for his mustache and pink for his lips. On the alternate head sculpt, you can see that there is also super sharp paint applications for the pink in his mouth. And what's really interesting is the whites for his teeth. Really well done. I think on his alternate head sculpt, because of the wrinkles that are sculpted and shown on his forehead as well as between his eyebrows, you can genuinely tell that he's agitated and shouting, because without those lines he might just end up looking like he's yawning. Onto the sides of both heads, once again also sharp applications for the hair. He's bald on the top and there's some brown hair down the sides and the back of his head. The brown hair is also framed with the graying of his hair just above his ears. And of course the sculpting for the hair down the back and the top of his head are the same as well. And of course that alternate head sculpt pops on just fine onto his body. In terms of sculpt, he's mostly reused from the standard Marvel Legends suited bodies that we've seen on Agent Coulson as well as Bruce Banner, among many other characters. We've already taken a look at his head sculpt, so let's move on to his torso. He's got a light blue shirt on the inside, and on the outside he's got this rigid jacket piece that ends up feeling really stiff and hinders that ab crunch that he's got. Onto his arms, there are also the standard suited body sculpt. It's cast in blue with wrinkles down the sides. On his left hand, he's got a fist that also has a sculpted and painted ring on his ring finger. Onto his right hand, it's sculpted with his index finger pointing. There's silver paint for the belt buckle as well as black for the belt itself. But besides that, there's no other paint applications on his body. His legs are also cast in the dark blue plastic, similarly with wrinkles down the fabric of the pants on his legs. And finally, he's also got some black Oxford shoes. In terms of articulation, his head is on a ball joint, so that spins 360. There's also some sideways tilt left and right. He can look down that far as well as up quite a fair bit. Swivel hinge at the shoulders, so that goes 360, as well as coming out that far. Upper bicep swivel, so that goes 360. Double jointed elbows for quite good range. Swivel hinge at the wrist, so that goes 360, as well as articulating in as well as out. He's also got a swivel hinge on his right hand. That hinge is rather stiff, but you can articulate it up as well as down. He's got a mid-torso ab crunch, but it's as good as useless because of this really rigid jacket piece that he's sculpted with. So there's good as no range of movement in that ab crunch. It's just almost impossible to get articulated. He's got a waist swivel, so you can swing him right as well as left. Ball joint at the hips that don't go out very far. The ball joints also get you articulated forward and backward. There's an upper thigh swivel for 360. Double jointed knees, so that's not bad range. Very limited ankle tilt upwards, almost close to zero. You can also check out my modification video for some tips on improving that range, as well as some tilt downwards. And he's also got ankle pivot outwards, as well as inwards. J. Jonah Jameson isn't known as a very active or agile character in the Spider-Man movies, but you can get a fair bit of fun by using the interchangeable hit as well as the interchangeable hands, despite his rather limited range of articulation. You can also pop on the J.K. Simmons hit sculpt onto the Marvel Legends retro comic J. Jonah Jameson action figure. Size-wise, J. Jonah Jameson stands at just over 6 inches or about 15.5 centimeters. For size comparisons, here he is with the Spider-Man black and gold suit and the retro comic J. Jonah Jameson. Here he is with Pizza Spider-Man and Peter Parker, Venom and Green Goblin, some G.I. Joe Classified series, and some Star Wars Black series. For me, the main draw of this release is getting a J.K. Simmons action figure. You get 2 nicely executed hit sculpts and some new interchangeable hands. However, it's once again a boring reuse of the suited body with even reduced articulation because of the rigid jacket piece. If you have no interest in the J.K. Simmons figure, you can easily pass on this. Please like and share this video, let me know what you think in the comments below, and subscribe to my channel for more toy reviews. Thanks for watching, take care and stay safe.